Hi everyone, it's Chenzo from Reality Art Pod, here to celebrate my first full year of YouTubing by casting a season of The Traitors with people who have been on TV in 2024. The rules I gave myself: on TV in 2024, they can't have been on The Traitors already, and I tried to cast a good show. Going forward, I want to do this every year, and I also won't allow myself to have repeats next year. Let's see if any of my picks ever end up on the show. While I'll be talking about a lot of competition shows, I promise I'm not going to reveal any major spoilers like winners or placements, as I feel that wouldn't really make this video any better or worse, and you probably haven't seen all the shows I've seen. I'll go through each player, why I picked them, and it'll be a bit of a memory lane, which also gives me an opportunity to very briefly talk about some shows that I wasn't able to throughout the year. In the end, I'll put my producer hat on and cast my 3 traitors for my fake season. Before I dive in, I'll be YouTubing all year long. If you like this video, consider liking and subscribing. But let's dive into it, starting with someone who was on 2 reality shows this year in Alyssa Edwards, who appeared as both her drag persona on Global All Stars, which as a show was a flop. The way they handled the entire production on Global was so lackluster to me. It seemed like nobody really watched it, but Alyssa ate that. And she appeared on The GOAT as Justin, which was more relevant as it pertains to this video because I only put 1 drag queen on this list, as I think they would only put 1 Drag Race girl on any season, and Alyssa is one of my favorites of all time. She would get casual traitors to watch Drag Race with her funny confessionals, one-liners, and comebacks. On The GOAT, Justin was an alright player, very we're the good, honest people energy. I don't know if Alyssa could handle or would want to be a traitor. I think she would probably be a terrible faithful who's wrong until the very end, and I need to see it. Moving on to someone I just spoke about very recently in Andy from Survivor 47. Andy stole the screen with a huge meltdown in the premiere, followed by a season-long growth arc where he proved to be a savvy strategist who was willing to make big moves and think outside the box strategically, coming up with Operation Italy, one of the biggest heists in Survivor history. As a traitor or a faithful, I don't think Andy can really keep a low profile, because character-wise, Andy is performative and a drama queen who likes to make a show and TV moment. If I'm casting the traitors, I need people who are willing to be really messy. Have no fear, this cast has a lot of messy. On the topic of mess, there's no way I'm not putting Angela from Big Brother 26 on this list. If she isn't on season 4, I will be shocked, bewildered, perplexed. I loved BB26, especially the first part, thanks largely to Angela setting the tone with an explosive first HOH, where she confronted Matt in the kitchen and called him crazy eyes. She's paranoid, confrontational, erratic, and hilarious. You have to make her a faithful, just to see her spiral, going on witch hunts looking for the traitors. She could do well if she kept her head on straight, but she's extremely likely to be banished by the faithfuls for her behavior. Next is someone I was shocked to find out was doing a reality show in convicted felon and scammer Anna Delvey, who competed against beloved ex-traitor Phaedra on Dancing with the Stars with an ankle monitor while on house arrest. The house arrest thing normally would give me pause, but if she could do Dancing with the Stars, why can't she do this? She wasn't a very good dancer, but also wasn't judged fairly by America, who judged her on her actions, not her dancing. She managed to have good one-liners, especially when she was asked what she would take out of the experience, and she said nothing. As a producer, you can't make Anna a traitor because she would probably blow up her and the traitors games, and for that reason you can't recruit her either. So it would be interesting to see such a sketchy person navigate the game of deception as a faithful, and I wonder if she would be able to spot the traitors given her unique skill set. Next, I have my first housewife. I'll be honest, I had the Grand Dame, Karen Huger, on my list because I feel like she's the best representative of Potomac, but this week she had drama about her DUI. Let's just say she may not be eligible to be a cast member, so I edited my list and added another Potomac OG, Ashley Darby. Firstly, I can't believe they'd pick Robin as the first person from this city when any other option exists. Ashley is an OG who came to season 1 as the wild child youngster among a group of ladies who saw etiquette and rules as their way of life, so her arrival really shook things up and acted as a foil for Karen, the older society charity lady. But it turned out that Karen was a huge fraud, and Ashley was really the hero of the first few seasons, usually acting as the voice of the viewers at home. She's finally this year divorcing her handsy weirdo husband Michael, and a new show could be a nice change of pace for her. She's smart, a bit outrageous, and often underestimated, which could be a traitor's worst nightmare. Next is probably the most random person on this list, but on The Real Show there's always these random people not from reality TV. I'm putting Big Boom AJ, one of the Costco guys from TikTok, who's one of my most fascinating people of 2024. I don't even really use TikTok, but I am obsessed with this family. I first saw them on Jimmy Fallon. Obviously there's Big Boom AJ, the son Big Justice, and the Rizzler, who I was shocked to find out isn't also his son. AJ is a faithful through and through. He seems like he's a really nice guy who would be happy to be there. I think viewers would fall in love with him the way they did with John in season 2 and be devastated when he's inevitably murdered for being too obviously faithful. He made my list mostly because I wanted to talk about him. I love the We Bring the Boom music video. I love the It's the Double Chum Chocolate Cookie. Next, I have Devon Rogers, who this year appeared on The GOAT, but is better known for appearances on Big Brother and The Challenge, and who will be appearing on The Challenge All-Stars 5 next month. I never got to talk about The GOAT, but that cast was pretty elite for a show that not a lot of people ended up watching. Devon proved that she's not only matured over time, she was more strategically dominant than ever before, and she still doesn't miss a step when it comes to delivering on drama and TV moments. I don't think she's ever appeared on a season of a show without some kind of flare-up with another contestant, which would give us all the roundtable crossfire that we need. As a faithful, she would be a leader who could steer the group in the right or wrong direction, as she does have good pull, but she isn't always right. The traitors are always at an advantage, and she could thrive in that position. Next up, I have Chavez, who appeared this year on both the Challenge All-Stars 4 and the Challenge 40. Derek has never been regarded as a particularly great challenge competitor on the show, even though he is really athletic. He's more seen as a fun presence. In these two showings, he showed that he has an excellent social game, navigating his way through these seasons and making alliances, having especially great relationships with the women in the game. He was a standout of 2024 for me, especially with the recent episodes of him paying tribute to his sister and having huge underdog moments on the challenge. I'm left feeling like he has a lot of potential in a game like the Traitors that's more social, where no matter his assigned role, I think he could weasel his way to the end of the game and come out with a win. Next is my one guy representative from Netflix. I had some considerations, they were all pretty traitorous. Some guys from The Mole and Love is Blind. Ultimately, I felt like my list could use more innocent faithfuls, so I picked Dre TL from Rhythm and Flow, which is Netflix's rap competition. This show is really well produced. It's one of those that anytime they drop episodes, I drop everything I'm doing. Love is Blind is that way too, but this year's seasons were terrible if I'm being frank. The judging panel on this show are excellent, with DJ Khaled, Ludacris, and Lotto, who are all really knowledgeable, caring, honest, and fair. And we met Dre TL, who shared his upbringing with incarcerated parents, being adopted, and coming up to get onto TV. I just thought it was all so sweet and genuine. My heart grew 3 sizes that day, and it would be so cool for him to get to the castle. He would be a great faithful and is so pure of heart. If he wins, it would be a great moment, and if he loses, it would be a heartbreaking disaster. Up next, another housewife. I'm putting Dorit Kemsley from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Beverly Hills is, in my opinion, the most long-running, consistently good city. If I had to recommend one place to start your Real Housewives journey, it's Beverly Hills Season 3. Dorit isn't even on back then, but I'm going to put my foot down and say that there should always be a member from this city on the Traitors. I picked Dorit firstly because we need people who are going to be bringing the drama with the fashions, and she will. She'll be heavily decorated for breakfast each morning. Dorit's also been putting in work to deliver good TV, with the show focusing on her separation from her husband PK, which in my opinion seems staged, or I think she thinks that the separation is staged and PK thinks is real, which is Akko Taco. She's also been fighting with Garcelle and Kyle, and she's just been giving. And if you're going to pick one person to present to fans, to give them a taste of modern Beverly Hills, I think it's Dorit. She's a smart business person and very intelligent, but often has foot-in-mouth moments where she has to walk herself back, which could push her to the point of no return in the game. Bringing it back to social strategy with Genevie from Survivor 47, a lawyer who captivated Survivor fans with her cutthroat gameplay, earning the nickname Mothervive on Twitter. I feel like we barely scratched the surface of what Genevie can bring to the table. She's a very complex person. I love that she played her rookie season like an all-star. Similar to Carolyn already being on Traitors, I think we'll start seeing players like Andy, Genevie, and other players we may see on Survivor 50 on Traitors as cross-promotion to get some new viewers over to the show. I have more faith in Genevie as a faithful than a traitor. She really struggled on Survivor with guilt, and as a traitor, all of the murdering may weigh on her conscience. Next, I have Joey Grazade, who was both The Bachelor and on Dancing with the Stars this year. As The Bachelor, I felt like he was boring but likable, but he did have Riz on the dance floor. I don't have too much to say about him. I needed someone from Bachelor Nation, but he was on 2 shows this year, and I think it would be nice for Anna Delvey not to be completely thrown to the wolves here without a buddy, because they would know each other from Dancing with the Stars, so I would make them both faithfuls together, which could be a funny dynamic. Next, I have someone from this season of Love Island US, who I found funny and enjoyable, but I know was polarizing in Kendall Washington. Kendall has a big personality, and fans took big issue and got hypersensitive with his pot-stirring tendencies. Personally, I didn't think he did anything wrong, and people need to touch grass on that one. He's fun, funny, and entertaining. He also got really screwed over by his scandals that happened to him after the show. That was really messed up, and he ended up getting dumped over it. I think he deserves another chance to just not end on that note. With Love Island and Traitors both being on Peacock, I think the network love him. He was always down to play along with their games, and they probably would love to have him on another project. Rounding out my housewives, I can't believe we haven't gotten any Salt Lake City representation on Traitors yet, given how explosive this show has been. I considered every single current cast member. New cast member Bronwyn is a genius and would serve looks. Brittany and her high high body count hair, Angie K is out of her mind, Lisa Barlow is a quote factory, Whitney and Heather would be interesting cast together, Mary is having one of the realest storylines tackling her son's addiction, which is captivating. I even considered Reality Von Teese Monica for her guest appearance on House of Villains, but ultimately I would never pick her over an OG, so I settled on Meredith Marx, who is one of the OGs of this city and is just a drama magnet. If you watch her, Meredith just knows how to win a verbal argument. It's a bit fascinating. If she ever thinks she's gonna lose a conversation, she says she's disengaging and just walks away. It's quite fabulous, actually. Meredith is weirdly sleuthy. She's always hiring investigators or gathering intel on the other women, often for undisclosed reasons. Her encyclopedic memory of dirt on people could help her to catch a traitor or two. I wanted to have Netflix representation for the women. I considered Tolu from The Trust and Perfect Match, but ultimately I saw Tolu play a good, honest game and would have only put her on this as a traitor. I considered Chelsea from Love is Blind, who lied and said she looks like Megan Fox. Ultimately, I feel the strongest casting choice was Muna Abdullahi, who appeared on The Mole but previously appeared on Sequester. Muna is a serious gamer who's always thinking steps ahead, but is magnetic and makes others want to work with her. I did feel Muna was a bit underserved being cast on this specific show because the rest of the cast was playing such a bad game. I would love if someone would chat with me about The Mole because I have a lot of opinions about this season. Anyway, I feel like Muna needs some better competition, and while this cast has some idiots on it, there are some to give her a run for her money. For example, reality fans knew Nina Twine from Australian Survivor and for obviously being Survivor and Traitors alum Sandra's daughter when she went on The Anonymous earlier this year, a mix of her own talent being raised by Sandra and I'm sure a lot of pressure by being Sandra's daughter make Nina a dangerous player. She's sharp and she puts in the work. After seeing her on multiple shows and compete side by side against Sandra, there's a case to be made that Nina is actually the better player by almost every metric. In interviews about The Anonymous, she said that in preparation for that show, she studied to become a body language expert and discusses how she played with rookies and returning players. She knows how to spot the people who play to win and the people who are just there to be there. When people recognize her, she's able to downplay as, oh, I'm just Sandra's daughter, it doesn't mean I'm Sandra, and that's how she gets you. She's a winner contender in either role. I was happily surprised to hear that there would be a Simple Life reunion, so that happened, where Paris and Nicole got together for a 3-part special titled Paris and Nicole The Encore, narrated by Alan Cumming on Peacock. Big Simple Life fan here from back in the day. I still have the DVDs and have dreamed of this day. After watching it, I hate to say I was so disappointed. Sadly, I don't feel like the project was handled with care. They only went back to the original town for 30 minutes. They went to visit the original family but couldn't get them to agree to be on camera. Why do this? But Paris and Nicole are still icons. They're fun and hilarious. And it could be possible they would join this cast, but I'd cast them as a duo playing as one player. I don't need to see them turn against each other, as season 4 of The Simple Life where they were fighting was genuinely hard on me emotionally. As always, I don't expect them to take anything seriously or try. Next, I have a representative from Survivor 46 in Q Burdett, who was a runaway standout of that season, being intensely serious at times, but also capable of being really silly. Q is a coach by nature and was often trying to criticize other players' methods of playing the game, but was a very flawed player in his own right. He could bring the looks to the manor. I'd like to see an elevated version of the Q skirt at breakfast. I think he'd be very vocal in the game, telling other players when they made a big mistake. He would be a traitor's dream, and he's highly likely to be banished. An interesting return this year was from Richard Hatch, who hadn't appeared on reality TV since a stint on The Biggest Loser in 2016. First, I don't remember him ever being on that show, which is saying something because that was one of my absolute favorite shows. I never missed a weigh-in. Rich originally appeared on the first season of Survivor, which I'm currently covering on my channel and I'm posting a video about on Wednesday, and most recently returned for House of Villains this year. If he's back for that, I don't see why he couldn't be back for this unless CBS somehow wants approval over the casting process. Rich did so much for reality TV. His Machiavellian mentality on the first season made the game evolve quickly when it could have been a kumbaya snooze fest. I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I think House of Villains is a stupid show. I watch it, but I think whoever's in charge over there at HOV is doing a bad job. Rich did an interview with Page 6, which was worth a watch, saying when he got to the show he was disappointed to find out that everyone was playing emotionally. I think Rich would face a lot of that emotional play on this cast as well, but I think we would be able to see him play with some people who are more his equals, maybe even push him to push the game further like he did with Survivor. One of the more controversial reality villains of the summer is Rob from Love Island US, who just acted so erratic and insane. Rob is a snake wrangler and often wearing nothing but overalls. His whole Instagram is just him in those overalls. He really is such a weird guy. No matter his role, I think he's too sketchy not to be banished, but given that he's from a Peacock show that brought so much viewership to the platform this summer, I do expect them to be cycling some of their contestants into Traitors. I think it's a huge miss that there's there's nobody from Love Island on season 3, especially after the popularity of Burgulicious and Sweet Baby Jesus Not Ekansu. Someone who's obviously a lock is New York Tiffany Pollard, who this year appeared on House of Villains, and if you know me, you know I love Flavor of Love. I always intended this channel to do a deep dive of Flavor of Love, Rock of Love, Charm School. I just never saw a demand for it. I made one video a while ago recapping one episode that didn't really do well. Maybe I'll get back to it, but New York is such an icon. She's been on every show under the sun. She's gotten the call for 2 seasons of House of Villains. Obviously, production of that show loves working with her. She produces great TV moments and has a great agent who could definitely hook her up with the Traitors gig. I don't think she would be a mastermind, but I will say she's played on enough shows by now. She does seem to have a good head on her shoulders for strategy. She knows what's going on. She gets into alliances. Rich said he thinks very highly of her from his time on House of Villains together, but she's always so prone to mix-ups and confrontations like the David's Dead misunderstanding that would be so bad for her on the Traitors, where nobody really wins being the center of attention. Another obvious lock for this list is Tucker from Big Brother 26, whose larger-than-life personality captivated Big Brother fans, making him an easy fan favorite who helped the ratings of the show. He didn't seem to care too much about winning the show and was mainly interested in making good TV and making himself look like a good person, which is usually very cringe, but he did it pretty successfully. Having him there playing crazy and flashy forced the other players to be on their toes, which inspired erratic gameplay, something I'm always looking for on my screen. On Traitors, Tucker would stand by what he believes in, even if and especially if what he believes in is wrong, and would be highly likely to be completely bamboozled by a traitor in the end. His pre-existing relationship with Angela would be interesting to play out because they've both been friends and rivals. I would make them both faithfuls just to watch it play out. Next, I have Veronica Portillo, who is an OG challenger and competed this year on the Challenge All-Stars 4, who will also be on All-Stars 5 in 2025 alongside Devon. I'm a big Veronica truther. In middle school, I loved how she was this confident, mean girl, boss lady type. I think it's wild that Veronica has competed in 17, going on 18 seasons of competitive reality TV on MTV, over 25 years between Road Rules and the Challenge, but has never appeared on any other show, which is wild to me because she has a big personality and is super smart. On All-Stars, she was pulling off next level game moves, like talking herself out of eliminations, even after being called down into eliminations, which left me seeing so much potential for her in a more strictly social game like this. After casting the CT, Bananas, Trishelle triangle in season 2, I was expecting more challenge representation moving forward, and I feel we were really underserved, especially with the women challengers that we could be seeing. But sadly, of course, I don't get what I want. Lastly, I have Xavier PR, who this year appeared on The Anonymous, but in the last few years has done Big Brother, Reindeer Games, and The Challenge. A common critique of Xavier, even from me, is that he can be boring, but then I remember he could be very silly and is capable of making some good TV moments. He's smart, strategic, well-dressed, and is just a great representative of modern Big Brother, and we love the Reindeer Games representation. Reality Art Pod OGs know I'm always trying to jingle the bells. I think he'd be a good player, and I want to give Nina, a friend, a connection on the show so that she's not starting from scratch. So that's my cast. Picking my Traitors, I've always said if you're a producer, you want to pick people who you can trust to play well with the production. You want people who want to be traitors, who are entertaining, because they're the anchor of the show. So I chose Devon, Kendall, and Muna as my Traitors. Devon is a seasoned pro on camera. She's someone who can carry a show. She hosts her own podcast, so she can follow direction. Same for Kendall, who's an influencer, seems to have aspirations of hosting. Devon is someone who fans want to see succeed, so seeing her be in the position of a traitor, which is the advantage of the game, would be more rewarding to watch, gives her the opportunity to get the glory. Kendall loves to stir the pot, and this would be an opportunity for him to be more villainous, naughty, and nasty without being punished and judged for it. I want him to be able to be himself and get to shine a bit. And for Muna, I think she's a genius who's capable of being so nefarious, and I like putting people in a position to live to their potential. So there you have it, a new tradition, my 2024 Traitors cast. Did we like this? Let me know in the comments what you thought of my list. I'm sorry if your favorites didn't make the list. If I don't watch your favorite show, I'm sorry I don't watch your favorite show. If you watch this video and genuinely don't think I watch enough television, I don't know what to tell you. If you like the video, consider liking and subscribing. I want to thank all of you for supporting my channel this year. We have come so far and talked about so much since we talked about Reindeer Games last year. It's insane. And there's so much to look forward to, like this Traitors premiere. I'll be watching and recapping all 3 episodes the night that they premiere, so be there or be square. Until then, have a happy holiday. Bye!